Hi, here comes that damn philosopher again talking about the stuff that probably will never happen, but I think some of these stuff will happen. And I'm always interested in what comes next. That's why I'm calling this video next. What happens after big wars or nuclear wars? What happens after massive economic collapses? How about some ideas how to resolve stuff or how to go through with it and why we shouldn't feel totally threatened. Let's start with the economic fiasco that's going to engulf us, and a lot of analysts on the internet they know and talk about it, but a lot of them they talk about things as bad as they are. They don't really talk about any solutions or any future plans. The same goes with the war or what might happen or what to do to not to have these going on again. Well, I want to start with the economic front, and I think that the reason we are going through these crises is because the rich classes, the corporations, they have acquired too many ways of amassing wealth, and also have acquired a lot of political power, and they are basically running the show and giving the rest of us some handouts to keep us quiet. Okay, that's basically my overall assessment of it. And these crises, they will not go away. I mean, they are a feature of capitalism. But there is a very strange verse in Quran. It goes like this: uh, God doesn't change the destiny of a nation until they change what's in their hearts. And if we want to change our destiny in the United States or in other countries that are afflicted with extreme capitalism, I could talk about all those Gulf states, Saudi Arabia, and wealthy nations that they are out of control militarily, financially. They just become destructive. We have to find different ways of managing the money and managing uh, the resources at the top. Okay, so in a lot of older cultures, I grew up in Iran, and I know the Indians and Chinese they think kind of like me. Is that they don't have a whole lot of respect for businessmen or the bourgeoisie or wealthy corporations. They kind of like look down on them, really. But it's because it the what the bourgeoisie or the rich always pursue is just more amassment of political power, more amassment of wealth, and that brings on the crises that we have and they have had, and also it conflicts with what the society as a whole wants. It's in its core, in its total essence is undemocratic, and concentrates wealth and political power in the hands of a few people, a khalifa or a bourgeoisie or a banker, and many of the laws in or attitudes in Christianity, old Christianity and Islam too, are designed to disperse or ruin this situation. For example, the laws regarding marriage is that Prophet Muhammad's attitude was that he allowed many wives for a man, because if a woman didn't have a husband, she basically didn't have an income or a place, and he instituted taxes. Basically, religious taxes are pretty high. homes like a fifth is a fifth of your net profit a year, and zakat, which is 1/20th. So if you are a good Muslim and you want to be in God's good graces, you have to pay like 25% of your profit every year to for charity. And then we see this number. The Russians have a law that all the corporations, you have to pay 25% of your net profit to the government as taxes, and in the U.S. is more. But I'll get to that. These are for ancient times. I think there is a lot of reason to charge corporations a lot more taxes, and I want to also look at the corruption that comes when the rich have access to politicians and they can pay them off. It kind of ruins all the checks and balances for society to prevent concentration of wealth and power, because just the bankers or the rich just write a big check and say, hey, I need these laws repudiated, or I don't enforce them, or you can't do that, because society has become too complex and we are all tied into these systems, in social systems, and you can have all this concentration of wealth and political power. Something will go wrong. It is going wrong. My idea, I had several ideas. I presented it in the previous video. Because of automation and software, and later on artificial intelligence, a lot of work is going to be automated away, and also because of derivatives and financial engineering, a lot of the wealth is also being confiscated or diverted away. So we need to completely change this system and make it such that the banks and the large financial corporations, they cannot get money from the top. They cannot get loans or what they call that, the free money that government publishes and gives it to them, quantitative easing. Basically would make it a felony for these corporations to get any subsidies from government. So they would have to go back to the bottom of the pyramid and get their income by providing a service or providing a product that the society wants. In that way they get the profit. Basically the idea is to make corporations our servants rather than they're running the show. And the other ideas has to do with democracy, democratic values, prevent many of these abuses. We could go the route of many like Iceland or other countries that are totally democratic. But one idea that's very good is to make it illegal for enterprises or corporations or institutions to have a political say-so, which means like they cannot be a legal person and have a vote or buy votes or buy the politicians. Just we make that all felonies. You are a corporation or an institution. You have no business being there, and only individuals, like human beings, they can make political decisions. The good thing about doing things this way is that practices and ideas and trends in the society that are destructive, they don't get amplified. Okay, the individuals have needs and insecurities, and they are the real political decision maker. And because there is many individuals, the society acts as a computer to resolve its own problems, and the problems that are essential to maintain and progress the society. not the problems that are phantom, like problem of keeping the banks alive. So these practices basically prevent the accumulation of wealth and accumulation of political power. The other idea would be to make the politicians public servants. You get so much a year, you get like 100,000 or 200,000, and if you receive money from any other source, okay, you are committing felonies, and we will get rid of you. One other idea would be to limit their terms. You can only serve one term. You cannot be running multiple year after year, and this will prevent vested interest, companies becoming chummy with a certain class in the Congress and running a show. The other idea would be to tremendously cut back on defense, or what I would call offense, and divest ourselves from the empire, from having all these vassal states, because they don't contribute anything and they make our society more like a military encampment. What is their function? What's the better idea than that is to get rid of all the espionage and all the spying agencies. They are in a democratic society. You don't need them because all the information is available. Okay, there is nothing that you need to hide. If you're hiding something, you're doing something that's wrong. Okay, that's my basic understanding. And what's the other idea I was thinking about? Kind of slipped my mind. Democratic society does not need all this military establishment because it's democratic and problems are resolved democratically. Also, doing these things will reduce the internal tensions in society and increase the cohesion between people because everything is resolved peacefully through a democratic process. The other thing that the United States and many other countries they can do is make agreement with many other foreign countries to resolve whatever problem that they might have. Say, U.S. has problems with North Korea. Well, before we even talk about these problems, what we will do is have an international court decide the fate of all problems, no matter how rooted militarily or financially they may be. Okay, we will just divest ourselves of these stupid things the U.S. government has done in the past. Station thousands of people in foreign countries and divide their country and constantly be there. We just by this peaceful way, we divest and retain our respect for them and them for us. What else was in my mind? These problems, these hostilities with foreign countries and within the U.S. will not end. The same goes with the financial problems, because the whole system is very corrupt and very bad, and maybe we should go through it and suffer, and then that will change our outlook on things. And I know that many Americans believe in a lot of trash ideology, and the only thing that burns crap is fire, and the more people suffer economically and personally, the more they question the beliefs that are now worth it. Well, I'll go over some of my other ideas. These ideas are very drastic. I know that there is a negative reaction that's going to be there, but just think about it, and We'll see you next video. Thanks.